Hi guys, welcome back to the Shift Podcast, where inspiration meets leaders and mentors and the everyday person who wants to inspire people out there. So this podcast is all about just that inspiration. It's about getting insight, getting wisdom for how you can actually apply yourself and how you can create your own shift. So this week on the show, I have Gavin and Kate Gibson. Man, you are in for a treat. They from Crossroads Educational Consultants. Without further ado, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Very exciting to be here.
So good, man. We've known each other for some time now, and your journey of shifting, it is just amazing. So, the signature question that we always ask on the show is, what does the shift mean to you, or what does it mean for you, and how important is the shift?
I think we were both teachers for nearly 40 years between us.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't look like it, but we were. And we've done it all in teaching. We've been head of science departments. We've been pastoral roles. We've done it all.
Yeah.
And for us, we got to the point where we got a bit stuck.
Okay.
A little bit stuck in the mire. A little bit kind of like, man, we're doing the same thing time and time again, day in, day out. And actually, we were seeing there were students who were missing. Students who were missing out, students who were just kind of disappearing, missing out on opportunities they could have had. And that's kind of where the shift came in, didn't it? We decided we needed to make a change, make that shift.
Yeah.
And that's where the shift kind of came in.
Yeah, and I think it was also a personal thing. I mean, if anyone knows anything about teaching, you'll know it can be quite draining. It's a very busy, hectic job. And I think both of us mentally were at a point where we needed something different, and that coincided with what we saw with the children, and we just knew it was time to make a change.
Yeah, so we took a jump, didn't we? We had a friend who asked about home education, what is it? And we didn't know back then, did we? We didn't have a clue. I was like, I have no idea. Like most teachers, like most schools, I think the knowledge and understanding of home education in Wales is poor, and no one knows about it. It's under the radar. And we did our research on it, didn't we? We were helping this family out, and we were like, God, this is a thing. This is really cool. This gives back so much freedom, so much independence to us, to learners. They can do what they want to do, and it took away all the restraints of national curriculum and schools and points scoring and league systems. Took away all of that, and actually the child got to do what the child wanted to do. And that was that light bulb moment for us, wasn't it? And we kind of thought, you know what, let's see what's here, let's see where the opportunity is here. And then in the summer we took the big step, didn't we? We reshifted and we packed our jobs in.
Yeah.
We were finished teaching and we went all out for Crossroads, and now we're working with families doing the thing we love, absolutely love, which is teaching, but we get to do it in a real different kind of way.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the whole thing about, like that whole shift. What was it like in the pandemic, in terms of you guys were still then teaching in the pandemic? Did the Crossroads, was that maybe part of the seeing what really happened then?
I think the pandemic sort of opened the doors for home ed to be more accessible. So we ourselves, we were teaching online in our schools. Our children were being taught online. We were having an extension built, which is not relevant, but it was crazy. A crazy time. But it was when we went back to school that we saw that change in children, who, especially those who were maybe in year 6 at the time, year 5 and 6 during the pandemic, they were then straight away going into secondary school, which is overwhelming at the best of times. But they were lacking that sort of social confidence, and I think because they'd been so isolated because of COVID, and they really struggled with that step up to secondary school. And I think that was when we started noticing, didn't we, these children sort of just dropping away from school, attendance levels massively decreasing, which is the same across all schools and all situations, but we just wanted to do something about it, really, didn't we?
And I think it coincided with the fact that all of a sudden COVID came, the pandemic came, and all of a sudden everyone was working from home. And this whole online working force came into being. Before that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this before. We said, why didn't we do this sooner? Because we love what we do. It's amazing. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do it sooner? And the reality was, before COVID, it wasn't a thing. People worked. Everyone went out to work. Whereas now, a lot more parents are working from home.
Yeah.
We've got flexi learning, flexi working sort of time. And it allows us and the student to fit in and it to work. So really, it was kind of, without that, I don't think we would be doing what we're doing now, because that shift towards technology from home wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So it was really good. And I think also children liked being at home, didn't they? I think that's the difference. A lot of children liked being at home, away from the jungle that is secondary school. You know, that they got to be themselves. Our daughter is an example of that. So our daughter Jemima, she wanted to be part of the crowd in primary school.
Yeah.
And this was even in primary school, and she tried to fit in, and she used to come home upset, didn't she? And because somebody had said something and things. COVID came. She came home. She was home with us for the 2 years, and actually, you know what? She found herself.
Wow.
And she found Jemima, and you know, it's brilliant. Like, just to see her be her and not try to be somebody else to fit in with another set. So so that was and that was a real great thing to see, wasn't it, from Jemima?
Yeah, great. So what sparked the idea of Crossroads? What sparked the idea? Why Crossroads?
I think, well, the first thing was friends, like we said earlier, friends asking us, you know, how do we go about home education? Is this actually even a viable option for us? Are we allowed to do it? The young man we're talking about, we could say his name.
Yeah, Alfie.
Yeah, Alfie Parker. Hi, Alfie. Alfie is an MMA fighter.
He's an ex-UFC world champ. He's going to be awesome in the future.
Yes.
He's 16. He's 4-0. He's top man.
There
we go.
It is.
Shout out to Alfie.
Shout out.
But yeah, Alfie was finding school a challenge, and with all his training and the commitment to his sport, was looking for different options, and that's why they approached you, didn't they?
Yeah, Barnaby trained with him in the jiu-jitsu academy.
Gym, yeah.
And sort of we were talking and we asked, and that's where it came from. Just that research. I'm like, no, actually, this is really cool. And then I had some time off work, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just got a bit of burnout from school, you know, got a bit overwhelmed and just needed to take a bit of time. And I remember being sat in a friend of mine's kitchen, Mark Bradbury, and he said to me, is there anything good with this home ed stuff? Have you got anything going here? I sat there in the chair, I was like, nah, it wouldn't work. Wow. Here I am.
Wow.
That little thought it lit the spark. It was that spark, it ignited, and it smoldered, and then we kind of eroded into a flame, didn't it, really quickly?
I was going to say, the whole business was set up within a week. The website was up and running. We were a registered company, and we just felt like the right move, the right shift. Yeah.
Wow. Because I remember coming to your house. I think that was just the beginning bit of it, isn't it? And I remember just sat there with the two of you, the excitement of not knowing what it would look like. There's an idea of, and it's kind of like, it's hard, isn't it? When I started my own business, it's kind of the excitement, the passion is there, the enthusiasm is there, but you're kind of like, oh, you know, you know, it's like the sacrifice that you are making. But I knew when I sat with you guys, I felt like it's going to work. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know. And even for me, asking these questions is to get to know about what's the in and outs, you know, of home education. So what do you think? What struggles were families facing post a pandemic with their children?
I think it was for so long that they couldn't go to school, or they were told, you know, you can't go to school. And then, you know, all of a sudden, almost like a separation anxiety for a lot of children, you know, they felt safe at home. We were told, weren't we, by, you know, everybody is safer to stay at home. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, you're back in school and back in that busyness. And I think that's quite challenging. And then especially for certain groups of children, I think, you know, the majority of children were fine, but there were certain groups of children who suffer with, who've got ALN, children who've got social anxiety, children whose parents maybe suffered during COVID, and those children felt a responsibility to stay with the parent. I think there's lots of different situations, but there were very bright academic children all of a sudden no longer sat in front of us, and we were like, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know if you got anything to add.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right, Anya. It was that post-COVID, it was just children coming back into such a busy, noisy, sometimes confrontational environment that is a high school. And when they'd been at home, happy, peaceful, it was all quiet, they were working, they were enjoying it, to shift them into that scenario where they may not thrive, then they found it really hard, and I think lots of them found it hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were saying about ALN.
Yes.
Explain to us what that is, and where is the system failing students in that?
So in Wales we refer to additional learning needs as ALN. In England it's referred to as SEND, but it's children who've got additional need a bit of additional support for for different reasons. Some children are diagnosed with conditions like autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia. There's a lot of mental health issues, ADHD. They all come under that sort of umbrella.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of things, I think. It's money and time. And, the funding isn't there for schools. There's been a big shift in Wales as well with the ALN reform. The way children are supported in schools is now different. And a lot of children who were supported previously are not in the same way. And I think, families do feel let down by the system because it's just not the funding to support those children on a one-to-one basis, or even in small groups. And it's like everything, cuts had to be made, and unfortunately there is a whole group of children who are suffering as a result of this.
I think the ALM bill had the children's needs at heart, the best for the children of the heart. But I think the reality was, it's the money wasn't there, because what it said was any children that needs, that's diagnosed to have additional needs, they will get one-to-one support. But there's no extra money for schools. So where does that support come from? So all of a sudden, instead of having these children who should have that one-to-one support, what schools were doing was they were not diagnosing them. They were not putting them through for diagnosis. So the number of ALN students, in Wales dropped. Okay. But that wasn't because there was less of them. That was because we were diagnosing less of them. So we didn't have to pay for them, because the schools couldn't do it because of the budget. So we get it. We understand from the school's point of view, what they're trying to do and play with a very limited budget is tough. And there's a lot of plates to spin and balance, isn't there? But unfortunately, it was those children who needed the support and help that kind of got kicked in the teeth, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, me working in the educational system as well, it's good to have you guys here, because you served in the traditional way of education. What you're just saying, that many times when I look at young people and I'm thinking why can't you cut money somewhere else? Because it's like you were saying, there's because the diagnosis has not been put in and all of that stuff, and it's and they think, okay, but even just apart from that, it's we're not putting money towards the well-being of kids and saying we're investing in the well-being of our young people, and then cuts are being made, which I also get. It's kind of heartbreaking for me. I've had my fair shares. When you look at schools and you think, why isn't it a priority? Why?
It's a really difficult one, isn't it? And as you said, we do understand both sides of the story, but we are dealing with the kind of outcome of it now, and picking up these children and trying to do our best for them, and it's just lovely to see them thriving in a different environment.
I think when we talk about that traditional education sense, school system was set up in Victorian England to get people to work in factories. It's very regimented, it's for the masses. And we don't do mass production anymore. Do you know what I mean? We don't all want the same thing.
You're right.
You've got an iPhone. I've got an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right. There's millions of iPhones out there in the world, but I guarantee you our iPhones are not the same. And I guarantee you those millions of iPhones that are out there, none of them are the same. What we want as people is we want to have our own version of something.
True.
We want to be able to change things and edit things and move things. And school doesn't do that. School is fixed, and it is so fixed, it's scary. Look at Subway. Subway, biggest takeaway company in the world now. And it's because you could have your sandwich the way you wanted it.
Yeah.
You went to McDonald's, you went to have a Big Mac, you had to have a quarter pounder. But now you go to McDonald's, I want this with this, this, and this. Everything's made fresh. Everything is adjustable, customized. That's the word I was looking for earlier. And, you know, where school is not customizable at all. School is rigid. You can pick, you get to your 9 or your 8, you get to pick 3 choices. You pick the 3 you want. If those 3 subjects are in the right boxes for you, you can do it. If not, sorry, we can't do that. We can't staff it. Whereas what we get to do is when you're home ed and with us, it's infinitely customizable.
Wow.
You know, I think we got 31 families that work with us now. Not one of them is having the same diet. They're all having something different. They're all having the things that they are interested, they want to do.
And what does that make? How do you feel as now you're in a different kind of, you know, their home education? 30 families, different kind of outcomes. Does it keep you being fresh in terms of like?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's really exciting because we're led by the children, so we can take the direction they want to go. So I've got a fab, one of our youngest students, she's amazing, and she wanted to learn about the saints in the different parts of the UK because she'd been on a trip and she'd gone to St David's, and then she wanted to learn about them, and then she wants to now learn about Rome because they're going to Rome, and then she's very excited about learning about Boudica. So we're bringing in geography, history, we're doing English, we're looking at Welsh culture, we're looking at cultures in other countries, and we're bringing in Roman numerals, so we're bringing in maths, so we get to like tailor her tailor her work to what she wants to do, which is
Gavin there
really
just smiling
exciting.
as you were saying you got a story.
I just sort of one of our young lads he said to me, I want to do computer science, and I remember thinking, oh good lord, I got to do computer science. And do you know what, I hated the first part of the computer science course. It was really boring. But actually now I'm getting really into it. So I'm learning. Yeah.
So
not only is he learning, but I get to learn as well. And because I'm learning and I'm passionate about it, it comes across.
Yeah.
And it's just that enthusiasm. We've learned all sorts of different things and things we've studied.
Yeah, we were doing pottery on Friday.
We did pottery, throwing pots.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good fun. Oh, Godzilla. I know loads about Godzilla. And I've learned loads of Godzilla facts, and there's like 31 different movies and different types, and they got different special skills, and it's fun. It's
very varied.
Yeah, I always say to people who ask me, it's all the best bits of teaching.
Wow.
Without any other stuff, and that's the joy that it brings in there, and that's why we get to now. It's half term now, Easter holidays, isn't it? And I know that all my teacher friends are literally dragging their carcasses to Easter to get to Easter, whereas we're like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, we've got another week actually.
We are working next week.
Yeah, so it's changed, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do you think? I think you said it in the beginning as well. What is the biggest myth about home education that you think people think that's just a myth?
Yeah, it does make me laugh. And I suppose we were there as well. We kind of believed that home ed was just for sort of alternative families, people who wanted to sort of live off grid, live off the radar. And I think that, we've realised that there are so many different families out there home eding for a variety of different reasons. And, they're just doing the best for their children. And, that's, at the end of the day, we know our kids best. And a lot of these parents, it's not a rash decision, is it? It's not like, they take a lot of thought and a lot of time making this decision. And for some of them, it's what we have coined forced home education. You know, there isn't a choice anymore because the well-being of their child needs to come over everything else. So they take them out of school because, that's the best option.
And often
at that moment.
They've fought for a long time, haven't they? They've gone through the siege, they've gone to the school, they've said, look, this is happening, this is happening. And, you know, there's that back and forth. But ultimately, sometimes these things can't be solved. And it's a real shame. And that's where a lot of our students who come on board with us, that's what's happened, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's been things have happened in school. They've tried as much as they can to get the bottom to help, and the school has tried to help. But there's a point where they can't do any more. And at that point, there's the choice between, do I fight my child every single morning for 2 hours to get them into school, where they'll go and they'll hate being there for 5 hours, and school will say, come on in, sit down, we put you in a nice quiet room, and you can stay there if you feel overwhelmed. That's not school. That's not living.
No.
That's just surviving, and that's not right for children. You know, and they should be in school to thrive. You know, and millions of children do. They go to school and they thrive. But it's not right that children go to school and just survive, because that's rubbish. So they've taken that choice, haven't they? That hard choice. You know, it's a tough choice to come out. And that's where we step in, don't we? That's where we step in. We want to step in. We want to help those parents to know that there's support out there. There really is, and that it's viable. It's real. They can get qualifications. They can go to college. Yeah. We've got children this year. We're sitting 6-7 GCSEs. Yeah, he's going to smash those this year. I know he is. Yeah, he's so good.
You guys sound like you guys have been doing this for years, man.
It's just. Yeah, it's good, you know. It's good that we can help those children, you know, and it's a real. It's not just the alternative audience, is it?
No, you know, I think we tend to pick up parents at the end of their tether kind of thing, you know. So we get the phone call and they just need to blurb. They just need to say, this is what's going on, and the first thing we do, we just listen, because they just need to voice it, and then they are like, well, what do we do? And that's when we can start to kind of build something that's right for their child. And I think just another thing I wanted to bring up is the waiting lists, the waiting times for diagnosis, because they're so long. We've got a lot of children who are sort of not getting support in school because they don't have a diagnosis. They're on the waiting list, but it's too long. 3 years is too long. And, you know, I know that waiting list times are coming down. The government have said they're going to put more money into that to try and reduce the times. But even then, when they're diagnosed, there's not the money in the schools to support them. So it's just one of those vicious circles. We've had quite a lot of children who are still awaiting diagnoses. And just supporting them while they wait.
I think one of the other big myths is that they won't get qualifications. And that's so not true. It's so true. Like, when we started doing this, it was difficult for those children to get qualifications. Don't get me wrong, you know, they had to jump through hoops and they had to go to certain places. But we have, from the start, tried to make that as easy as possible. And you know, we have recognised that actually these children come out of school, they want qualifications. Because as much as it would be lovely to have this holistic approach in the world and where, you know, everyone just gets to do what they want to do, bottom line is employers, colleges, universities want a bit of paper with a qualification on that you can say, I can do this. So that's what we've endeavoured to do, isn't it? We've tried all our ways to kind of get to a point where actually these children get qualifications as simply as possible. You know, and efficiently. And they can do all sorts. That's the bottom line. You know, we found ways for them. They can do most traditional stuff: English, maths, your sciences, geography, history, RS. Keep going. Computer science, psychology, sociology. Wow. There's loads. We've just started doing an arts award, haven't we?
Yeah, so we're working with Trinity London to deliver the arts awards, which covers all sorts of arts, because that was the biggest issue, is that there wasn't a way to do an art GCSE because of the coursework element. Or music. But this way now children can get a bronze or silver award, hopefully up to gold eventually, which is GCSE equivalent and A-level equivalent. They can get those qualifications in the arts, and we can just keep broadening our offering, really.
Yeah, we got PSE on board, haven't we, as well? We got essential skills we do. We just started learning in the outdoors. So it's a really bushcraft orientated, lighting fires, chopping down trees, that kind of stuff.
And it's got some ecology in it as well. It's not just that bit. So there's some ecology
animals.
in it, animal identification, testing water, doing habitat surveys. So just really exciting hands-on stuff.
But it is mainly setting fires and using knives. That's the exciting bit.
Do you know what? Even for me, like you're talking about myth, right? In my head, I'm like, it's education for me as well. In my head, home education is just at home.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about, the outdoors.
Yeah.
And even in my mind, I was thinking like home education is just chill there, sit there by the table, have your lunch, pack lunch, and get done with the job. But it sounds very liberating.
It is, and it's very diverse. There's not one child who's home educated who is the same, because they just do all sorts of stuff. You'd be amazed, and the quality of the work that they produce, whether it be sort of written or artwork or verbal, they're just so knowledgeable, aren't they? They've got their own like little avenues they go down, and they're just really unique individuals.
And I think what you said about sat in front of the table in school, the reality is there's 30 children in a class. Let's call it a nice small class, because 30 is a small class these days.
Yeah.
You got 30 children in a class. It's an hour session. As soon as it starts bang on time, and they're not late from coming from the other lesson, and they're shouting and pushing the corridor, and they finish bang on time, and we'll ignore the bit where they pack up and tidy away and everything. 30 children, that means those children get 2 minutes each. 2 minutes of teacher time each per lesson. 5 lessons a day, 10 minutes. 5 lessons a week, it's less than an hour personal teaching time. And when you put it like that, when you think about it like that, yes, they are doing other stuff within that. But actually, when you break it down to that level, it's scary.
Yeah.
And we get to spend far more time than that with our students, and and they've got us at the end of the phone call, do you know what I mean, as well? They can contact us anyway. But,
wow.
Yeah.
You guys were saying about like parents, like helping parents, like that example you just made there. Yeah. How do you help like overwhelming parents, like I know you were saying about just listening in, how do you navigate through that, because they come with maybe anxiety and
I think one of the reasons we set up our Crossroads at the Meadows, so we work at the Meadows Wildlife Park in Caerphilly on a Friday, is because that gives us a space where people can come and meet us, because it's all about relationship and trust. Often parents are, have been hurt, they're exhausted, they are just fed up of fighting, and they just need to know that people care about their child. And so we set up Crossroads at the Meadows because we wanted our children to have a social environment where they could come and be outside with animals, which is amazing for their well-being, but also to build a community of parents. So whilst the children are with us, going off, cleaning out animals and, grooming llamas or whatever they do, the parents can sit and chat to other parents. And I often stay. He has a go at me because I stay. But we're just there just to unload and to talk and to share experiences. And I think many of these parents have dealt with these issues in isolation, and they need to know they're not alone. And so building a community of parents is really important as well, so that they've got the support from each other as well as from us.
A lot of them feel like they're alone, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
And they're going through alone. And actually the reality is there are so many families going through the same things. And part of what we do is we bring them together, don't we? And you're right. The first phone call is always just it's an emotion dump for the parent. That they've had no one to talk to, and they just kind of unload. And for us, it's a case of like, look, we hear you. We understand you. Here's what we can do for you. Gosh, number of parents who said like they're just so thankful they found us. So grateful. And parents who said, why weren't you here 2 years ago?
Well, we had one on Friday, didn't we? And they came down from North Wales for our pottery. We tried to do a end of term sort of social activity, and so this term was pottery, and mum and daughter had come down from North Wales, and mum said to me, I just got my daughter back. And I was like,
that's what you were saying about Jemima.
Yeah. because it's such a journey for them, and it must be so hard. But to see them thriving again.
Yeah.
Is great. And even I haven't told Gav this, but it was another family that I'm working with. The grandparents were really anti home ed. They didn't understand it. They didn't think it was the right thing to do. And the grandma said, this is about 3-4 weeks in now, I can see a difference. She's much happier, isn't she?
Wow.
And all of a sudden it clicked, and it was like, actually, maybe this is the right decision. So yeah, it takes time, doesn't it? It takes time. Yeah.
So a couple of questions. As give us maybe just a overview of maybe from the beginning, like from families who are coming in, it's like, oh, this doesn't work. It's in my head. I'm overwhelmed. I'm offloading.
Yeah.
To how does that process work? Because you were talking about this MMA guy as well. It's like, give us like, if somebody comes in, I want to have home education for my child. What does that process look like for them to a place of success?
Yeah.
Go on, you can start this one.
So I'm thinking of one of our earliest families. They've been with us 18 months now, and it started with just an email to a phone conversation, just giving us all the background, and like Gav said, that sort of emotional download, I suppose. We then always try to do a home visit so that we are where the child feels most comfortable. And it was really interesting with this individual is that the child was very, I can't do that. Even the parents were like, I'm not sure they're going to be able to sit exams. They're just not in the right space. And they were very, oh no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do very well and stuff like that. So we started working with them. I'm hoping you know what I'm talking about. We started working with them, just doing an hour a week online to start with, because we were both still teaching at the time. So we started with this individual before we went full time. And she was just getting, I'm saying it is a she. She just started getting on really well, started building up her confidence and stuff. And then from September, I've been going there once a week. They have an extra hour's tuition as well, so I actually go for 2 hours.
I know you're talking about
now. But yeah, just seeing her now, like doing intermediate maths papers and getting C grades and so close to B grades from a child who told me they couldn't do maths and definitely couldn't do English, and now we're preparing for exams, and just as I said, thriving.
Yeah, do you know who she's talking about?
Yeah, he does now.
So I've not seen that child since probably one of our initial meetings.
Oh yeah, you saw her on Friday.
Yeah, and I saw it for the first time on Friday at our pottery thing, and do you know what? I didn't recognise her. I was like, oh wow, just the
progression,
the difference, the aura, the confidence, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just it was like a different child sitting in front of me.
Wow.
Because I remember her back when we first started, you know, and I used to see her now, and I just think like honestly, actually, the difference was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 more questions. What's the first step if parents or people out there, watching? What would be the first step for them considering home education?
I think check out our website, isn't it? Get on the website, get on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Crossroads Educational Consultants. www.crossroads.wales is our website. Get on there, have a look at what we do, what we can do for you, and just message us. Send us a WhatsApp. We're on WhatsApp. Whatever time, just send it, and we'll get back to you. We'll start that, but we'll talk to you. Even if you want to talk to me for 2 hours, I'll talk to you for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, we got no problems with that, have we?
No.
And let's get that conversation started. And it might not be that you come with us, but we can certainly signpost you right direction for different things, show you what's available, and talk you through the process.
Yeah, that Crossroads means you can go that side.
Exactly. Yeah. It's making the shift.
It's making the shift, isn't it? I'm so glad to have you guys here today. It's just phenomenal to see the shifts that happen and the continued shifting that's going to happen in terms of it's not just that child, isn't it? It's like, I think one time you were saying about science, where like the grandparents are joining in as well with family, and so that's the difference there, where is that like not just touching the the hearts of the student, the child, but families are actually sitting together and journeying together. That's phenomenal.
And it's funny, isn't it? We talk, we laugh. We become part of the family.
Yeah.
You know, like, gosh, like so many of our families are like, I feel part of, like, you know, we're in having conversations with them about things that are not to do with the work, but you know, just life. And
or we knock and just go in. Do you know what I mean? It is gets to that point, because we just become part of the furniture, don't we?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's lovely.
So, the future, what does it look like for you guys in terms of the future? What if I ask you next 5 years, what would you love to see if money was not an option? Like, money is not a problem.
We want to be just this kind of like one-stop shop for all home ed, for anyone who's kind of thinking about it, considering it, and to be a place where these parents, these families can come and we can provide them whatever they need. Do you know what I mean? If it's support, if it's counselling, if it's just somewhere to hang out, if it's a team to play football for, if it's something that we've got the space in that place to actually to provide those things for those families. You know,
I think as well, for me, one of the most important things is that we become an accredited exam centre, so that we can offer the exams ourselves, and we can do it at an alternative venue to school. Because if you imagine you're a home educated child who's maybe either never been to school or has trauma from school, and then the only way they can sit exams is to go back into a school, it doesn't seem to fit. So we want to set up an exam centre that is in an alternative location to allow children to feel more relaxed and that they're not having to go into a school environment. So accreditation from different exam boards would be really helpful, especially for our Welsh language learners who currently can't do exams in Welsh language as home educated children because of coursework barriers and things like that. So definitely something that is on the cards for the future is a private exam centre for Wales.
Yeah, and I think we want to see home education just become just an alternative to school. Not necessarily, you know, the thing to do, but actually just it's a viable alternative. And these children, you can do it with your child, and you can learn to thrive with your child and learn alongside your child for the rest of your life, essentially. You know, that's what we want, isn't it?
And we want it to be equitable to the school experience. It shouldn't be a lesser option. It should be that if you choose to home ed, that you know it's equitable, that they have access to all the same qualifications. They shouldn't be penalised for making that choice. It's going to be a long journey, but we're hoping to make steps towards that as well.
100%. No, thank you so much, guys, for sharing, coming in. One more question before you can give your social media handles and so on. Just people in general, if they want to create a shift in whatever sphere of influence or whatever they want to do, whether it's business or whatever, what would your advice be to them in terms of how can they take that next step in shifting their mindset or whatever that might be? What would your encouragement be?
I think get people around you that believe in you. Get people that are on the same wavelength of you, that support you, and genuinely support you. You know, 100%, and go for it. That's what we did. We went for it, but we knew we had a safety net. We knew we had friends and family around us where if we fell and it went rubbish, it didn't work, then we knew that we had support from those people, and we had encouragement. So those days when we did think, oh, what am I doing? Actually, they encouraged it. Remember what you wanted, Gav. Remember why you're doing this, Gav. You know?
And I think honesty as well. So people who will say, hang on now. So you've got to have the two of you. You've got to have the encourager, but you also got to have the person who's going, hang on, have you really thought this through?
Yeah.
So you've got to have that sort of balance. And I think, I've always had the attitude, I think, that if you find yourself not happy in the situation you're in, don't just stay there and wallow, do something about it. And it is hard, but it could be amazing. It could be the best thing you do. And that's how we feel now. You know, we just think, gosh, how lucky are we to be, you know, making a difference in people's lives and having more external families. Yeah, exactly. So just go for it, and it'll be worth it. So good. Yeah, just give people your social media handles, platforms again, and thank you so much for joining, and you have to come back. And I don't know, maybe if it is possible, if you could maybe even bring some people as well, that would be like fun. Their own kind of personal journey of experience of how they, maybe parents as well, I don't know, to actually share their own kind of journey of how they shifted and how this ripple effect going in the future. I think they'd really enjoy that, wouldn't they, as well?
I think it's a great idea.
100%.
Really good idea.
We can do that.
Right, so Facebook is a mouthful. Is Crossroads Educational Consultants. We're on there. Our website is now much easier. www.crossroads.wales. Check us out and just contact us if you need to speak to us about anything. And we're also on Instagram and TikTok as well. We are, but I'm forgetting what they're called. Just find the one, it will give you the other ones. Exactly. No, guys, thank you so much. Once again, I'm really inspired by you guys, and I think for me, it's just that I put that in my context, and I'm like, at the end of the day, you want people to feel like that shift you made is helping them to shift, and it's helping them to shift, and that's that whole societal kind of shifts that's happening. So, like you say, just got to get up, believe what you're doing, get the right people around you, have the critical person also say, well, why this, and then eventually all of us together work together, and that's that whole Ubuntu, isn't it? I am because we are. And so now, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much once again for tuning in for another week of the Shift Podcast. Remember, this is what it is. It's about shifting your mindset and embracing the shift. So catch you guys next week right here. Peace.